Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 146 of Build Your Stash and Craft. Today we are just going to play with some construction paper and some bleach. And this is just, this is just for something that you can, it's just a fun thing to do that you can use for any of your different projects, mixed media, journaling, ATC cards, anything at all. So I'm just gonna take one piece out here. Maybe I should get a couple different colors. But what we're gonna do is we're just going to look at a few different ways that you can use this and the different effects you can get. So I'll just do that. Maybe I should use my scissors, it'll probably be quicker. And I even have some here. So we'll just get a few different pieces. But you can even use this for card fronts. And it doesn't have to be construction paper. I have a piece of cardstock here too, so I'll go ahead and grab that. We'll see what that looks like with the bleach on it. But I like the way that it does with construction paper. It really bleeds on the construction paper nicely. So what I've done is I put just a little bit of bleach in one of our containers because you really don't need much. And then this is just 2 pieces of really cheap paper towel. You really probably could do with just even just one of these pieces because you really don't need much at all. And then I just have a lid to a cottage cheese container. And I'm just going to kind of push this down in here like this and then cut it off. And I'm going to cut it off. You can fold it under too, but you don't really want it sticking out over the edge because you don't want that bleach to wick up that and then maybe drip over the edge and get on your work surface. So that's why I cut it to fit inside. But like I said, you could just fold it under if you wanted to, but don't let it stick up over the edge. So we'll just do that. Make sure that the paper towel is all down inside there. And then we'll just put a little bit of our bleach, and this is just Clorox fragrance bleach. It still just smells like bleach, which is fine with me. I actually like the smell of bleach. And again, this is a chemical, so you don't want to get it too much on your hands. We're just going to put enough on there that it will soak into the paper towel, and I'm doing it now. And I'm just kind of dripping it. Just dripped it on our paper because I don't want to have a whole ton in there. So that should be probably enough. And I'm doing it now so that it has a chance to kind of soak in all the way around. And we'll use that in a little bit. See, this is the fun part about construction paper. We just dripped it on there and look how the construction paper is changing color. That's why it's fun because it does change color when you play with it. And you literally could just do different drips on there and just have really, I wonder if this one will pick up enough to actually do a nice size drip. That's not much. Let's, because I really like the way that this one looks. Let me find a bigger paintbrush that might soak up a little bit more. Kind of really get that in there and then let it drip onto here. Because it's a paintbrush, it wants to hold. It doesn't want to drip. But this just works really cool for backgrounds. So the blue, and it also depends on how much you put on there. And it also depends if you want it to kind of stop. You could take a damp paper towel and kind of tap on it to get it to neutralize just a little bit. That's kind of hard to do. But there, just that quickly. Isn't that just a really cool effect? And they just wick out. And then, they wind up with different colors along the edges. So I think that's just really fun. So there's one little part right there. Okay. You can use it to draw. And that's what I use this for. And then I just have a pointy paintbrush. And you don't want to have a ton on your paintbrush. Enough so that when you put it on your paper, and I got that really wide, but when you put on your paper, you can see it get wet. And then it will go ahead and it will start working. It takes a while for it to do all of the color change. And I'm thinking this is not the one that I used when I did my test project, because it's really pushing. You want, you know, like to do drawing, it's nicer to have a paintbrush that doesn't squish out. This one is kind of really squishing out a little bit and making really fat lines. And then you just, you know, do that all over the paper. And it's, again, it's just another pretty background and something that you can use to rip it up and cut it up and collage with it. Or you can do the size of a card front and put it on the front of a card. You can write. And you pretty much do want to get, when you're like writing or doing patterns, you want to try and get new, dip your paintbrush often, so that each one of the letters is they all have, they're starting with the same amount. So we'll just say happy day. Yeah, this is definitely not the one that I used before. Last time I had really nice thin lines on my practice one. So you can play around with your different brushes and see the kind of effects that you're getting with them. When I do my swirlies, I like to try and do some one way and some another way, so it doesn't look as much like a repeat pattern. Okay, so there's how that one's coming along. So we'll set that aside and let it work. And then you can use it to splash. Now remember, if you're going to splash, that you need to be careful. It's bleach. You don't want it to splash everywhere. So I just have one of the cheap paintbrushes that we got from the Dollar Tree when we very first started. And it's that hard nylon bristles. So you can use toothbrushes or anything like that, but then I'm just going to kind of pull it back and just let it splash on my paper, or splatter, I guess you would call it. Like I said, be careful that you know where those are going, where your splashing is going, so that you're not getting bleach where you don't want it. You'll want to make sure your work surface that you don't want to get bleach on it is protected. Make sure that your clothes are protected. And so there is a splash. And now see, this is really just bringing out the green. We'll have to see if this turns more white, like this one is doing, or if, because that's such a light amount of bleach, like here, it's very light in the background. It's not really pronounced. And when on my practice one, I used purple paper, but also like my brush was a little stiffer, and so I think I had more bleach on it, and so like the purple comes out very tan behind. And so different colors are going to give you different effects. I really like the way that those swirls look. And then you can also use it to stamp with. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to shut this up so I don't spill it. Here's my water. So I am going to grab out one of my foam stamps. I don't know which one I want to use here. Let's try this one. Of course, I would pick one without a handle on the back. And then I'm just going to press my foam stamp into there. Lift it up. And then just press it on here. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just making sure it makes contact everywhere. And then we'll lift it up and we'll see how that turns out. So that's how it's looking right off the bat. That worked really cool. And then I do, when I'm done, I do go and I wipe these with a paper towel with a little bit of dish soap and water, and wipe it off. And then I wipe it off with just a damp paper towel, because I don't know what the bleach, if you just leave it set. I'm not good at cleaning my stamps, but whenever I use bleach, I do make sure that I clean my stamps when I'm done, because I don't know, what the bleach will do to it. And so that's something that you have to, I've seen people do this before, but I don't know how their stamps eventually turned out either. So then we've got some clear stamps, and I think that you need to use clear stamps that, I think that's it, yep, are kind of, let's try this one. Okay. This is one that says hello. So I'm just going to make sure that I get that one in there well. See if I can get my fingers to pick it up. There we go. One press. Be better if I used a block. And there we go. Now, because it really spreads, the word hello has really squunched together. So not necessarily the best thing for that. But since I've got it on there, I'm just drying off since I have it on there, I'm going to go ahead and use my paintbrush and just kind of fill in that speech bubble and see how that turns out. Now you can almost see the word a little better than you could when I first stamped it. But so anything real intricate is not going to work. But nice, solid things work really well, like your foam stamps. And here I just have just a circle that I cut out of fun foam. Where's our one with the splatter on it? Put that one on there. And then when I cut out the circle, I just drew around I think it was a pill bottle top or something. That's what I tend to use most of the time. And then when I cut that out, I had a little bit of a leftover, so I just made it into a moon. And I did this, I think I did my sample about a week ago. And so these are still good, so the bleach has not ruined my fun foam. I did again wipe them off with just a damp soap and water paper towel, and then just a damp clean towel to get the soap and water off. And that seemed to work very well. I'm going to take that one off. And take that one off. So the moon looks like it caught a little bit better. Looks like I'm missing some on my full moon or sun, whichever I would want to call that. So I'm going to try getting a little bit more. Now, when I originally did this, I did it with blue, or with purple and green, and they showed up more than the blue. So the different colors are definitely going to give you different effects. So there we go. We'll set that aside. See, our leaf is coming out even better. And then the last thing that I like to do with it, oh, I wanted to see, this is some of the painty, I think this is when we did the distress inks. I wanted to see what would happen, grab a little brush, if we painted on, these are the the faux distress oxides that we did a couple weeks ago. And I wondered what it would do on this, because this is kind of like ink and paint. Ooh, look at that. Works really well. Cool. I didn't know, I hadn't tried it on paint. I had only played with the construction paper. And then I have a piece of I don't know where my scissors went. Again. Well, here's a little pair of scissors. Oh. Oh. Were you guys sitting right there looking at them? I expected that they were on the table, not on this part. So let's just, I'm just going to do a really thin piece of this. And I'm just going to dunk it in the bleach and let that sit and see what happens with that. Because I'm not sure if you have, because this is solid core. When you rip this, it's blue inside. So I'm not sure if it will take the blue away or not. Some of your paper like this, cardstock, is not solid core. When you rip it like that, it's white inside. Or it's a different color inside. And so that would definitely probably change to whatever color was inside. So, and then the other thing you can do with it that I like to do is, hold on, I want another piece of paper here. Let's, let me see. I want to make some pockets for my journal. I'm trying to think what color I want to put in there. I think I'm going to try orange. There. Okay. Those down there to be washed. And then what you can do is, you know, when you like when you wet tissue paper to rip it. Well, I'm going to wet this to rip it. So that I can rip it right where I put the bleach. I'll do one on this side too, so that I kind of have matching corners. And then what you can do is, because this is construction paper, not really that heavy for a corner, is you can put a little bit of cardstock behind it, or even just do 2 pieces of your construction paper glued together so that you have a nice solid surface. And then once you've done that, then you can just tear it, and it tears really nicely right along that line where you put the bleach. And there we go. So I like the looks of that. I think that that's pretty cool. And then you can stamp on that, collage on that, do whatever you want to, but I just like the way that those edges look. So there we go. Now I have 2 corners, and kind of like the looks of that. So that would possibly make a really cute envelope. Go like this. And then put another piece of paper across here for the front of the envelope, and this is your flap. I like that. That's cute. Don't know that I'll make an envelope out of it, but I still like that. Maybe even something, well, maybe a tuck spot. I just like the way that that looks. So that's something that I'm going to keep. I'll play with that later. So those are the kind of things that you can do with the bleach. It's fun to play with. It's a very inexpensive product. It gives you different results. And here's our blue. Wound up being light green. And that's the fun part too, is testing it out and seeing, you know, what cardstock does what. This turquoisey blue cardstock might totally be a different color than another brand turquoisey blue cardstock. You never know. It all depends on how they make it. So, you know, you can do all of these different things. And they're just, you know, they're fun to play with. Now, sometimes people ask me, is that archival? This would definitely probably not be archival. Well, not even probably. It wouldn't be. But, you know, as far as crafting goes, I craft to create something. You know, I don't expect my artwork to be a masterpiece and last for 100,000 years. In itself last, or in the fact of somebody's going to want it that long. So I don't mind if something is archival or it is not archival. If that's important to you, then you just make sure that, you know, that you don't do things like use bleach on your product, because bleach is not going to work for you being archival. Our sun moon is not dry yet. This little moon is dry. And he's cute, but definitely lighter than the purple. See, and here's green comes out kind of a yellowy orange color. And here's my moon and sun on the purple. And the purple kind of comes out a gray color. So that's very cool. And here is a leaf stamp there. And if you use too many paper towels on your little thing here, and then just put in a little bit of bleach, the paper towel's too dry to get enough bleach on your stamp. So just use one paper towel, and then you only have to use a little bit of bleach. But that leaf turned out really cute too. And then we have our swirls in the blue, and looks like part of our H did not bleach, so I would just go back over that with the pen, or I mean with the paintbrush, and just put a little bit more bleach there. But you can write with it, you can make little designs with it, and so that is what you can do with the bleach and the construction paper and cardstock and even painted paper. I was really surprised at how that turned out. That's really quite cool. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. For next week, we are going to need a hammer, and this hammer was $3.89. So the hammer was $4. And we are going to need some floral wire from the Dollar Tree. And we are going to need either metallic paint or metallic nail polish. This is $2, this is $1. So you can get 2 metallic nail polishes or 1 metallic paint. It was brought to my attention that this is not as much as this. This was $2 at Walmart for 2 ounces. This is $1 for a half an ounce. So $2 would get you an ounce, or $2 at Walmart will get you 2 ounces. So you do get more paint. To me, the nail polish on different things does cover a little better, but definitely either one of these works. So we are going to count $2 for our color. So 2, 3, and then $4 is 7. So we're going to spend $7. We will take $2 out of our budget. We had $86.50 in the bank saved, so we will be down to $84 saved in our bank. And we are going to get some wire, a little hammer, and again, the $4 for the hammer. If you have a hammer at home, you don't need this hammer. And this is a tack hammer, and the reason that I picked this up was because it was $4 and all the regular hammers were $5, and this will work just fine. I didn't want to spend the extra $1. So if your husband has a hammer that you can steal, or you've got a hammer in your little kit, you know, you don't have to buy a hammer, then use that $4 to go buy something else. So there we're going to take $6 out of our, 4, 5, 6, 7. $7, so we're going to take $2 out of our bank. That's what we'll need for next week. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you had fun with this, watching this. And if you play along with it, I hope that you have a good time because it's just something fun to do. Thanks again, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.